Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Fatima Hodge.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I'm Brother David Hodge.
Welcome. All right, sisters and brothers. Today we're going to begin on highlighting the black man and woman of America's true history that our enemy classifies as slavery. However, sisters and brothers, our history was not just slavery. It was, in fact, affliction, horror, and that part they don't want to let you know about, because then they'll be identified as monsters, sisters and brothers, because that is exactly the actions of what they've done to us, sisters and brothers. They make sure that they keep you in the unknown about what truly took place to you, sisters and brothers, which is why they highlight slavery as your true experience, when that is just 1% of what the black man and woman of America true experience is. So, sisters and brothers, we're here to make sure that you never forget your true history, because this is something that happened to you, sisters and brothers, because you are, in fact, are your ancestors, right? So you are these people that these devils afflicted. On top of these devils that you're surrounded by today being the same devils that did these actions to you, right? Because they are their ancestors as well, right? So, sisters and brothers, the true experience of the black man and woman of America was horror, affliction, torment, torture. This is what we truly experienced, sisters and brothers. They completely dehumanized us, wouldn't allow us to think, read, write, feeding us shitlings, sisters and brothers. Had us behind gates like we were animals, human zoos, sisters and brothers, using us as their entertainment. This is what the enemy truly has done to you. This is our true experience, sisters and brothers. They completely dehumanized us, right? And this was their plan, right? To wipe us out. Because if you don't know how to read, write, and do anything for yourself, then at that point, you are now classified as an animal, right? Or not an animal, but a person that's no longer needed in society, right? So this is the plan of our enemies, to destroy us. And not only did they do that, they also committed genocide on our nation. Now, sisters and brothers, genocide was the attempt to wipe out our nation, right? Through killing the male babies and sparing the women, right? And this is exactly what they did. They attempted to kill all of the male babies and rape the black man, rape the black woman. And this was their act of genocide that they committed on our nation, sisters and brothers. One moment. All right, sisters and brothers, excuse me. This was their attempt in the act of genocide on our nation, right? So in doing that, they produced a whole hybrid nation, right? That looks like us, talks like us, but they are not us, sisters and brothers. They are, in fact, the seed of the enemy, the seed of their devil fathers, right? From the rape of the original woman. Now, sisters and brothers, they were identified as house Negroes. You had field Negroes, you had house Negroes. The house Negroes were in the house because they were master's children from the rape of the black woman, right? And this is how they classified, this is how they identified the difference between the two, field Negroes and house Negroes, because house Negroes were master's children, and the field in master's house, and the field Negroes were in the fields, right? Now, sisters and brothers, we have to understand that these people are wolves in sheep's clothing, right? Because they look like us, but they're not us. We looked up to these house Negroes, sisters and brothers, and they had shoes on their feet. They had clothes on their backs. They had all these things that we didn't have as field Negroes, right? So we wanted to be just like them. So we were doing things against ourselves to achieve that mission of being in the house. But we would never get in that house because those are Master's children. They were happy to feed Master's babies. They were happy to cook for Master, serve Master. They were happy to do these things because they were, in fact, his children, which is why he produced them, because they would be camouflaged in with our nation, right? So they would corrupt our body. And that's exactly what they're doing today, sisters and brothers. And they're identified, the angel exposes them as demons, half man, half devil, right? So we have to understand that devils and demons are in fact physical, right? They teach you that these things are spooks and spirits. Angels are spooks and spirits. God is a spook and spirit. Devil is a spook and spirit. Demons are spooks and spirits, and brothers. However, that is in fact all to deceive you and from keeping you from understanding reality. And we have to understand that these Caucasians are in fact devils, physical devils. They are your open enemies, sisters and brothers. And then you have these black-faced children who are in fact demons, sisters and brothers, because they are half man, half devil. And these demons are corrupting our body, sisters and brothers. And they're causing our nation to go against themselves by pushing an American dream that's going to come to an end, sisters and brothers, very soon. So we have to understand that these demons are very dangerous because they look like us. They talk like us, but they are not us, right? So it's hard to detect them, right? And due to us being surrounded by them, we are in fact acting like these demons, right? So our people are being affected by being surrounded by these demons, right? And devils, which is why our mission is complete separation. That is our true vision, sisters and brothers. Complete separation out of the land of your imprisonment, sisters and brothers. Because that, we have to understand that when that is done, then we will be able to, what am I trying to say? That's our vision, sisters and brothers, complete separation. Now we have to understand that these devils have been working to make sure that you never know what your vision is or your true experience, right? Now, here in Genesis chapter 15, verse 12 through 17, it identifies the black man and woman of America's description, right? And this is God's people as well, right? Which are God's people. It identifies that here in this verse. Now, this is something that they don't highlight because they don't want you to know that this description, you and I meet, right? So, Brother David, go ahead and read that.
Yes, ma'am. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterward shall they come out with great substance. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet full.
All right, sisters and brothers. So here it identifies the identification of God's people, right? And exactly what they will experience and go through, right? So it says that we would go through, we would experience horror, right? Oh, it says, lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him, right? So this is what was seen, right? This is, if I'm explaining that properly,
Right.
this is exactly what took place to us as a brother's horror. And it also identifies that we will be sojourners in a land that is not ours, right? That's exactly what's taking place as a brothers, the black men and women are in a land brought from another land, brought from our land, taken, brought here, right, to another land. And it said we will be sojourners, right? Temporarily, meaning we won't be here forever, sisters and brothers. So understanding that, it identifies that we will serve them and they shall also afflict us, right? So that's important to understand that we were not just slaves, we were also afflicted, right? So that's what I just highlighted earlier, is that we were afflicted on top of slavery. So our experience is not just slavery, sisters and brothers. We were also afflicted. And the slavery part was only 1% of what our true experience was. So the rest of it was the affliction, right? Horror. Sisters and brothers, the other 99%. So imagine that, sisters and brothers, that's the experience of the black man and woman of America, right? And it said for 400 years we experienced this, right? We've experienced this affliction for 400 years. Then it said, and afterward that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and they shall come out with great substance, right? So it's identifying again that we will come out of this land. Like I shared, our vision is complete separation, right? That is our true vision, complete separation. So this scripture here highlights that as well. We will come out of this land. It also say that we will be sojourners in this land, meaning we won't be here forever, right? Temporarily, right? So it identifies a time frame. It said for 400 years. And that's exactly how long our servitude. And this is brothers, before the judgment began, its 400-year mark ended, right? So you have to understand that this is identifying the black man and woman. It said that we were brought here, right, in 1555. It took them 64 years to turn us into slaves, right? First Negro bot hit the scene, 1619. Sisters and brothers, 1619 was the start of our servitude. 1619 to 2019 brought you to 400 years, right? And it said, and afterwards, that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, right? And that's exactly when the judgment started, sisters and brothers. The 2020 began with their judgment after the 400-year mark. So we have to understand that this scripture is identifying the black man and woman because it said it will pass over those with the lamb's blood. Now, when that judgment started in 2020, we had what? COVID-19. And they shut down their whole economy because of this virus, because they were dying from it, sisters and brothers, and we were not. And they couldn't have that narrative going that the black man and woman were not dying from this, and they were, right? So they made sure that they put these vaccines on every corner, in every store, to make sure that you took that vaccine. You couldn't work without that vaccine. You couldn't travel without that vaccine, sisters and brothers. This is the things that they put in place to make sure the black man and woman were affected. However, it initially passed over the original nation, right? It passed over us because it said it would pass over those with the lamb's blood. So we have to understand that this was they attempted to make sure that that virus affected us as well, sisters and brothers, by giving us that vaccine, sisters and brothers. So a lot of our people took that vaccine due to the lack of knowledge, sisters and brothers. However, we have to understand the source and purpose for this was the start of their judgment, and it was a sign to the enemy that this would be the start of their judgment, right? Which is why they freaked out, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that this scripture here is identifying the black man and woman of America, God's people, right? God's people, what they were experiencing here in hell in America, sisters and brothers. And this is what they are trying to keep from you understanding who you truly are, and also that you have a vision. And that vision is identified in Genesis chapter 15, verse 18. You can go ahead.
In that day God made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. And this here covers the land that was promised to us, brothers and sisters, between these two coordinates. You look at a map between those two coordinates, the location between those two coordinates would be Arabia, which is indicating that, like the sister shared, we will be here temporarily. They said we will come back here, to this land here again. They said we go back to our fathers. We return back to our own place with our own everything. We get our everything that they took from you, you get back. Return back to that. You know, like you said, they stripped us of everything. They took everything from us. They didn't teach you how to do this, teach you how to do that. Then they gave you a bastard language at that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not our natural language. We're speaking their language. We're doing everything. We've inherited everything from them because they took us and brought us here. And like you said, completely dehumanized us past the imaginable. You couldn't even fathom what they did to you. It was so bad. Try to picture somebody being burnt alive, hollering at the top of their lungs, while the other congregation of slaves sit there and watch your wife and your children or other people gathered around watching you burn to death while they're laughing, while devils is laughing and making a mockery of you. Like you said, had you eaten chitlins. So, literal shit. That's what they gave us to eat for energy, to work tirelessly, all around the clock. It was ongoing. It was no stopping, complete misery for us. But we didn't have nowhere to lay. We didn't have no proper clothes. We didn't have anything. They had us in sheds, piled up on top of each other, urinating and defecating on one another. You see, they didn't take care of you. They didn't give a damn about you. You see, so, however, this here is what God has in store for us. Not the American dream, which is just a dream. Maybe it's not real. It's nothing of value. And it does you no good because this whole reality was set up totally against you. It was set up against you to fail. It was built to make sure that you was made miserable. You see? And that's how they set their system up. Their justice system, there's no justice for you. It's suffering and misery for you. And that's how they set it up, off your misery. Suffering off your misery. To make sure you get locked up. Make sure right, because that's who the most people, that's you are the ones that's in jail. We're the ones that's predominantly there. You see? Because they set it up just for you. Everything has always been in place to make sure that you suffer, brothers and sisters, so they can run that narrative however they want. They can run it up their ass. You see? Because we're not buying it. We know exactly what it is. It's just modern. It's up to date. It's still the same thing. The way they set it up is still the same for you. Slave catchers, but paddy wagons, the police, all that stuff was set up to get you. They don't use police for their own people. They do that stuff on rare occasions, right? You might see a rare case, something take place, right? But they get their people a pat on the back and they you know what I'm saying? They give them whatever it's called, a pat on the shoulder, or they excuse them of all type of things because it's really not for them. They try to de-escalate those things, right? But they shoot you dead. Yeah, see, that's what it's all for. They shoot you for something miscellaneous. Like, let's say you took some out of the dollar store. They whole kill you for something that your daughter walked out the store with or something, right? They try to gun you down, snatch you up, grab you up out of there. And if you get loud, don't get loud with them. They got that line, you sounding real, what you say? Get. Right. And that's what they do to our people because they're intimidated by us. And because they know that they know that they're wrong and they're afraid of you. It's because they was afraid that you might attack them for what they've done. Okay. You know, so they're acting off their guilt. You know, they feel guilty and they don't like you just roaming around. You know what I'm saying? They want you back on the plantation. They want America to be great again. We know America was never great. There's never nothing great about it. You see? But that's their interpretation of being great. When you was back in chains, when you was back getting whipped, when you was back getting your teeth yanked out your mouth and shit shoved down your throat. You see? When they was raping your women. You see? And producing their hibernation demons. You see? That's when America was great. And the demons worked for them. And they used them as leverage to spy on us and what's it called? Manipulate and intervene in on our people. You see, they use them to wiggle their way through to figure out to collect all the information on us. You see, to keep them in the know. And they work for Master. They love Master. They got their heart for him. You see, they don't love you. They hate you because Master hates you. Because Master hates you and Master hate them. You see that? Now, my Master hate them because of you, right? That's how they view it, because they black, just like us. You see, but they Caucasian, but they don't get the due respect because they look like you. So they hate being black and they hate you. You see, so some of them they bleach their skin. They take it that far. They get their little curly straight hair or whatever. You know, they get it curly or straight or anything that resembles Master. You see, they start partnering with. Right, they integrate and migrate and whatever it's called. They lay down with the devil to try to get rid of that black skin because they hate it. And they wear blind wigs and they They spray their hair blind. You see what I'm saying? Just to get closer to massa. They love massa just that much. They hate their own hair, especially if it's kinky and nappy and all that. I can't believe this. I was cursed. That's how they look at it. They look at it as a curse, not realizing that hair is actually showing exactly that how strong you really are. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be a tough person to have that type of hair. You see, it's based off science that people with that type of hair, you see, that structure, right? It's a good structure right there, boy. Show you that you're strong. But they look at it as it's a curse. You see? And they don't want nothing to do with it. They don't want nothing to do with this covenant. You see? Because the covenant don't extend to them. So you don't see them preaching about the covenant. You don't see them in church. You don't see the pastor, the preacher. You don't see the so-called woke folk. Nobody preaches about this. You know, people that got their third eye open and know all this voodoo doodoo. They claim they know everything, but they don't ever speak about this. Oh, because this ain't it's tainted, right? The Bible's tainted. Oh, they flipped some pages and took some stuff out and put some stuff in. And nah, bro, you don't need to listen to the Bible. That was written by man, right? That's a silly interpretation. Duh, everything's done by man. What is that even supposed to mean? You see, that's how you know everybody's confused. Like the sister said, they think it got everybody believing that everything was spooks and spirits. So the spooks and spirits wrote the books too, huh? They brought all this here to you, huh? Some spooky individual was somehow he relied on a human to write down everything he needed to give to you and say, "Don't you mess it up." Like, don't you rewrite and interpret nothing that I can't control. You see how stupid that sounds? Sounds stupid. Like, so the angels and demons and all this crazy stuff is just somewhere that I can't ever see, right? This stuff just don't make no sense. It's crazy. But that's what they do. Like the sister she shared, they do that to keep you blind, keep you from seeing who your enemies are, keep you from putting face to face. You see, that way you won't be blind. You see, now you can see. You see, now you know who your enemies are. Now you're not your own enemy. You see, now you can start moving different. Now you can start sharing the information. And that's what they fear. Is you share the information, people start waking up. You see, their objective is to keep you asleep. They say the people out of vision will perish. You see, they don't give it to you. Why? Because they want you to perish. You don't have to be, well, how you know they want to perish? Because they don't give you this. If they want you to perish, they just give it to you. Here, I want you to stay alive. Here, take your vision. They know not to touch this. The last person who tried, which was Martin Luther King, blew his damn brains out, right? Well, they tried to blow his brains out. Then they went to the hospital and finished him off. You get it? He was told not to talk about this. You see, because if you pay attention, his message was, "I have a dream," right? His last speech was the promise speech, right? Something totally different. Hey, went from a dream to a promise. And he was told, they told him, don't you talk about that. Because he was a big influence on people. He had a big following. And that could wake up a lot of individuals. So that's why they don't. If it was no big deal, then they could let them just speak about it, right? It was that important. This whole time, this brother Martin Luther King been doing this whole "I have a dream." They let him do that though, right? Man, let him do that. Let them march. Let them do all the things he wanted. Integrate with the devil, all that, right? They ain't talking about that promise. Pow! That's how you know it's powerful. That's how you know that they want you dead. That's the evidence. You have to, all this trying to figure out. You trying to justify that they want you dead. It's crazy because the evidence is here that they hate you. And how do you know they hate you? because they didn't give you this, and they changed you. And you know the degree of how much they hate you by how much they changed you. And they changed 100%. Brothers and sisters, we're nothing like we were when we got here. You don't speak the same language. You don't have the same heritage, the same culture, same religion, and same names. They gave your masters names. Named you after them. You see? Lobner. And, what is it? They got all them weirdo names. Rabbit Hatch. Anybody to give you names that don't even make sense. Right. Stamps. Cutler. And then you walking around named James Cutler. And they looking at you like, look at this damn fool. And that's how they know they got you by the neck.
Michael Jackson.
Right. You see? And that's one of their kids. So he's proud. You see? But that's how they know they still got you. When they see you, when they hear those names, and they see that chain, that cross on your neck, that's how they know they still got you. Oh, still got us a good nigga. You see? They hate to see us coming. They hate to see people like us coming. Oh, them niggas. They hate to see you coming when they know, because they looking for these certain things. And that's when they know. Still got them niggas. But when they see niggas like us coming, man, that's fear. It puts fear in their heart. And you don't be kissing their ass, and you don't talk like these niggas. You don't do what they expect you to do. You see? Man, they trembling. They trying to figure out how they can. Oh man, they hoping that this never happens in my time. They say that like, I hope this never happens in my time. They hoping niggas never wake up in their time. These niggas starting to wake up. Man, we got to make a move on these niggas. They going to the store and buying bullets. They stocking up on bullets. They stocking up on ammunition. They praying that the gun don't jam when these niggas wake up. Because they know they in trouble. Like Sister shared, bam. The thing dropped on them. Wow. 1619, 2019. 400 years said, boom, I judge them. 2020, boom. Knocked them right in their damn brain. Because they were taught Exodus from the womb. They know these things. They know who we are. They once set it up. You see? So when that happened, like Sister said, it didn't pass over them. Ain't they supposed to be God's people? Oh. Ain't they supposed to have the lamb's blood? Ain't they supposed to be a spiritual seed of Abraham? Ain't they? And the ones who claim to be Abraham, why didn't it pass over them? Because they not. You see? Simple. Like she said, we the only ones fit the description. To preach it all, tell it all. But none of them fit the description. None of them. And if they try to match and make things happen, but it still don't fit. Like I said, God said, I give you this land. And the people that claim to be us in another land. How'd you get there? It's like, God said, get this. You in Palestine. How'd you get there? He said, he give you Arabia. See? Something ain't adding up. They don't fit this description. But nobody, just like the so-called Jesus thing, right? See, he was black. Skin of bronze. Hair like, he had woolly hair. You see? But now they give you a picture of Jesus. A devil with straight hair. You see? With pale skin. Satan. You see? That's what it said. It says Satan masquerades as an angel of light. That's what they do. They flip everything around and give it to you. You just take it and bite all on it. That's good. Not even go back and look and read it again and say, hold on, something ain't right. Because we've been programmed to believe whatever Master say. Nah, Master got it right. Because he runs the world, right? So you don't question him. You question niggas. You see? That's what they want you to do. Question what that nigga's talking about. He has to be wrong. He's not credible. He's a nigga. Niggas are stupid, right? And that's the narrative that they paint. That's Satan. That's what they do. You see? They're the ones in charge of the Hollywood. Make sure niggas look dumb. Savages. uneducated people, prostitutes, pimps, hoes, fools, clowns, entertainers, people who do nothing, people that, like you said, waste of space and energy. That way, once they get rid of you, they justify it by showing, look at the nigga, he was nothing. He was no good. He was sucking up all the air. You see? Not producing anything. Exactly. Made you a consumer. Me had to depend off the producer. So what we need these niggas for? They ain't making nothing of themselves. They ain't making nothing to help with the universe. Get rid of them. That way, now, when they, like you said, genocide. They try to commit genocide. So when they use their final last attempt to take us completely out of existence, now nobody has sympathy for you. Nobody gives a damn about you. Look at them niggas. Good. Because, you know, when they kill black people, they's like, good. The niggas was in the way. The niggas was, they was causing crime. They was a bunch of hoodlums. Bunch of stupid individuals, you see, who commit crimes and make life terrible. That's how they be, you know. Just like the person who designed the founder of Planned Parenthood. That was designed for black people to get rid of black babies because she thought they should all be exterminated because they all was like weeds. They need to all be exterminated. Useless niggas. And that's what they feel about you. How they feel about you still to this day. That's why you be a fool to be here mingling, partying with these devils. Because deep down inside, they hate your guts. Like I just said, treat you like animals. They treat their damn animals better than they treat you. You see what I'm saying? But you're a different type of animal. You're a beast. You see? They don't love beasts. You see? But these other things, these other creatures in the world, look how beautiful it is. You see what I'm saying? They be petting on the ugliest things in the world and be calling them beautiful. When they see you, you're hideous. That's how much hatred they got for you. And we're the best goddamn thing. We're the best looking thing on the planet, right? And the ugliest thing outbeat us. Man, I'm telling you, these devils are sick, man. And this the reality you want to stay in? You want to stay around these devils, kissing their ass, and they hate you? They go back to their dinner table and talk about you and talk about, man, we need to figure out a way to get these niggas back in these chains. You know? Just haven't been right since, you know? Yeah. I seen one the other day. Damn, it scared the hell out of me. Sick of these niggas coming to my house. You see what I'm saying? That's because they demon children is here, right? So they demon children get an opportunity. So guess what happens? We get to wiggle our way ass. We get to wiggle our way in there every now and then, right? If we meet the qualifications and we managing our energy right, we end up in these same doorsteps with these demons. So you be seeing them. I be seeing them. You know, when you out, you see them. But the thing is, they don't like niggas at their doors. They're afraid because when they see these big niggas coming up to their house and they committed a crime against God and his people. So they on all tens. They on full alert. They're prepared. We're not prepared. They're prepared because they're living out the sealed Bible. They were taught the Bible from the womb. That's their guidance. You see? So they know that you're gonna wake up. But they gotta stop you before you wake up. You see, like, they're like, man, they gonna wake up, they gonna do this, they gonna multiply, they gonna come against us, they gonna make war against us, they gonna kill us for what we did. See, God was gonna get us. We gotta beat God to it. You see? They said the devil had a plan, but it said God was the best of planners. You see? But that won't stop them from trying, right? You see? So there you have it, brothers and sisters. The Abraham covenant. The thing that they keep you from finding out. So you keep pushing a worthless, valueless. Did I say that right? Valueless. There you go. Dream is not tangible. Nothing that you can do with. It's not going to take you anywhere in life. You see? It's only going to take you to your death. It's a dead end vision. It's literally like a coffin waiting at the end for you to jump in it. Because that's what they want for you. Your death.
Exactly, brothers. So you have to understand that dreams are not real. Right? So that's a sum up of that. You pushing a dream, and a dream is not real. Right? You wake up from dreams. Right? So understanding that a dream is not a vision at all. And your vision is real, sisters and brothers, which is right here, the Abrahamic covenant. And like it was shared earlier, they have taught us to think things are spooky, right? So we have to understand that heaven is a real place on earth, not somewhere in the sky. Hell is a real place that's on earth, not somewhere that's underground, sisters and brothers. You are, in fact, in hell right now. The black man's hell is the white man's heaven, right? So you are, in fact, in hell. And this is the devil's heaven, sisters and brothers. Now we have to understand that the Abrahamic covenant, which is our vision, is, in fact, our heaven. Going back to our land, which is Arabia, sisters and brothers, which is on earth. Not somewhere you go when you die, sisters and brothers. Heaven is not somewhere you go when you die. And this is what they told you, right? To keep you in that mindset that, you won't get a heaven, right? Until you are no longer living, but they will be in heaven, right? As while they're alive, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? But this is what they teach you, so you need to continue to obey them, right? This is their tactic to keep you in their control, keep you beneath them, and that's what they want you to continue to be the lower pressure, right? Because as long as they're the higher pressure, they will always defeat us, right? Now we have to understand that we have this nation who is we have this nation that is portraying as us, right? As God's people, which is false Israel, sisters and brothers. They're claiming to be God's people, and they have in fact stolen the original nation's identity. Now, we have to understand that these people not only have stolen our identity, they are also in control of everything that you think, say, and do. Sisters and brothers, they're in control of the social media that's influencing you. They're in control of the movies that's influencing you. They're in control of the celebrities that's influencing you. They're in control of the leaders that is influencing you as well, sisters and brothers. So they are in control 100% of what you do, sisters and brothers, and they're in control of the school systems that you have your children in. Everything that you can think of, they are in fact control of. Now, this is what they have to do to make sure that you never rise and never realize who you truly are, sisters and brothers, and identify that they are false and has stolen your identity, because at this point they're criminals, right? And they've committed a crime. And they're trying everything in their power to get rid of the evidence, which is us, sisters and brothers, me and you. We are the evidence of that crime. Sisters and brothers, give me one moment. All right, sisters and brothers. So, scriptures identify false Israel as being Satan, right? It said, I have known of you the tribulation and the poverty, but rich you are, and the blasphemy out of the ones saying Jews to be themselves, but not they are but synagogue of Satan, sisters and brothers. So this is who they truly are, sisters and brothers. They are not who they claim to be. They're claiming to be God's people, which we just described who God's people are, right? And also the land that God's people would be in, right? That's not where they are, sisters and brothers. That is not who, sisters and brothers, they do not meet the description of God's people. So they are in fact false, which is why they are identified as false Israel, because they're false, right? And also identifying the fact that here in chapter 2 and 3, verse 9 of Revelation, it identifies that they are in fact Satan, right? And that they are lying, right? Chapter 3 identifies, says, look, I'm giving out the synagogue of Satan, of the ones saying themselves Jews to be, and not they are. But they are lying. And sisters and brothers, they are not who they claim to be. Sisters and brothers, they are in fact Satan.
Exactly.
Satan, sisters and brothers, and it says Satan was the god of this world. And as I share, sisters and brothers, they are in control of everything that you think, say, and do, because they are in fact those in control of the media, celebrities, everything that this world, this dream, American dream consists of. They're in control of it to make sure that you never rise, sisters and brothers, and you never find out what the crime that they committed on you, and that you are in fact God's people, right, sisters and brothers? So we have to understand that, because they're at war as we speak. And they said when God's people are placed in their land, they will not be uprooted. On top of the fact that said they will be at peace, right? That's not what you see over there, sisters and brothers. On top of them not even being in the land that it claimed that we will return to, right? God's sure word to his people said that we will return back to our land, which is Arabia, right? That's not where they are, sisters and brothers. And right now, they're at war, right? And the scriptures identify that they will, in fact, be destroyed, which is going to be the shock of the hour, because the whole world thinks that these people are God's people, right? And they're blessed. They think that they're blessing God's people. Everyone thinks that they're blessing God's people. But once this lie is crumbled and comes to an end and they're destroyed, that is going to be the shock to the whole planet. That is an abomination, because that's not supposed to happen, sisters and brothers. Abomination is something that's not supposed to happen, and that's not supposed to take place, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that it says here in Luke, men's hearts failing them for fear, for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Sisters and brothers, is identifying people's hearts are going to be failing from fear, from what's to come, meaning from learning what's about to take place. If false Israel's about to be destroyed, right? That alone is going to cause people's hearts to fail, and that could, because they know that once that happens, that means that they're not the only ones affected by that. Right. America, Britain, they're all affected. They're all one, right? House of Side, they're all in cahoots with each other, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that it said men's hearts will fail from fear, because from what's to come. Because what is to come? They're going to learn, and they got to understand that it said from what's to come, and it hasn't happened yet, right? So that alone should tell you how serious this time is, which is going to be an unprecedented time that we have never experienced, sisters and brothers. No one on this planet has experienced a time that's about to take place here in America, sisters and brothers. Here, we have to understand that it said that, sisters and brothers, that I forgot the point I was making. The fact that, yes,
the unprecedented time that's showing up.
Right.
It said during that time it'd be like men be drunk, but they hadn't had anything to drink. It said that children be gray headed. It said that it'd be a domino effect of bad news, but no clear what's it called? Like reinsurance that things are going to get better. It said that people would look for death, but death would never come. You see, it said the most tenderhearted man wouldn't have compassion for his wife or his children. It said a woman would give birth in silence to eat the child in the afterbirth. It said that this day would be so dark, it'd be hopeless, without a ray of joy or hope.
Exactly, sister brothers. So a time like no other, sister brothers, that's approaching us. Because we have to understand that America is going to go through a total economic collapse here. Because they will no longer have that oil that they need to have this reality thrive. Because of this war that's happening. Now, sisters and brothers, it identifies here in Revelation chapter 12. It said, occurred war in the heaven. Michael and the angels of him war with the dragon and the angels. So we have to understand that this is identifying the war that you're viewing right now. It said Michael and his angels and the dragon and his angels will go to war. But it said that Michael and his angels will be victorious, right? So we have to understand that the dragon and his angels is the house of God, is the dragon, and his angels are America, Britain, and false Israel. Then you have Michael, which is our God, Master Farah Muhammad, and his angels, which are Iran and Syria. And as you see right now, false Israel is at war with Iran. Sisters and brothers, so we have to understand that this is who this scripture here is identifying, because Revelations is telling you exactly what is going to take place during this time, right? This is our light, our guidance for what's about to happen, right? Because this is another thing that they deceived our nation from. Understanding that the Bible is being lived out, right? They tell you that it's past tense. Oh, this happened already, right? They're telling you these events right here that it speaks about has already taken place, right? But they have no proof of that, right? Which is why, so brother, we have to understand that we're living out the scriptures. So, brother, this is another tactic to keep your mind in the unknown, not knowing what's happening, keeping you from understanding that who the messenger of the covenant is, sisters and brothers, which is the one that will break the seals of Revelations, which is the angels, sisters and brothers, which is in fact your guidance, right? That you need, sisters and brothers, which is the angel, Revelations, so you understand what's to come, what's taking place, right, sisters and brothers? So we have to understand that this scripture here is identifying exactly what's happening right now, right? And it says that false Israel will be taken out, right? Now, they will be defeated, right? So if they're defeated, that means there will be no more. It's like I shared, going to be a total economic collapse here in America, right? Meaning no transportation, no lights, no gas, no fuel for their weapons, no, sisters brothers, no food going back and forth from the stores. Sisters brothers, you're going to be living in a time that is unprecedented, that is like no other. Sisters and brothers, we have to understand that no one has experienced this time that's about to approach us. Sisters and brothers, everybody's going to be, it's not going to be where you're going to be able to run to your neighbor. You're not going to be able to run to the police. You're not going to be able to run to the hospital, because everybody is going to be fending for themselves, sisters and brothers, because they're not going to be worried about helping anyone else, right? Because we have to understand how serious this time is, and everything is going to be scarce, sisters and brothers. So everybody's taking off for themselves, right? Worried about focusing on themselves. The brothers, like I said, there's not going to be any medicines, any of these things that people need to thrive, because a lot of people are living off of the system, living off of medications that they're taking and things of that nature. However, there won't be any of that. So imagine a time like that, sisters and brothers. Imagine a time like you can't run to the hospital, get help. Imagine a time where you can't, if something's happening to your child, you can't even go get, get it fixed by a doctor, someone, because they are all looking to attack, right, or hurt you. And this is the time that's approaching us, sisters and brothers, unprecedented times. Sisters and brothers, like I said, everybody's going to be people are not going to be worried about helping people. They're going to be focused on themselves, trying to save their own. You know what I'm saying, sisters and brothers? We have to understand that this is a time like no other. That's why I say unprecedented. Sisters and brothers, unprecedented. unprecedented, right? And the scriptures highlights certain events to give you an idea of what to, expect during these times, right? Because we can't give you a full perspective of what to expect because Kashmir is unprecedented, a time like no other. We have not experienced this as either, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that we're just giving you an idea of what is going to take place. And the scriptures also highlights certain things that's going to happen, right? During this time, as Brother David Sher said, a woman will eat her own afterbirth, right? It said, her placenta which comes out from between her feet and her children whom she bears, for she will eat them secretly for the lack of everything in the siege and desperate straits in which your enemies shall distress you at your gates, sisters and brothers. So understanding that this is how serious this time is going to be. A woman is going to eat the child that she bears, sisters and brothers. Eat it. Cannibalism is what you're going to see, sisters and brothers. And that's why we have to understand how serious this time is, right? Because you're going to see these devils. You're going to see these devils in their true light. On top of them attacking Black people, right? Because when false Israel goes down, then who they're going to be looking at? The Black men and women of America, right? Before they even go down, like I said, because it said men's hearts will fail from fear from what's to come, right? So they know that this is about to happen, right? So what are they about to do? Attack all Blacks, sisters and brothers, because who has the next claim to be God's people? You. And they are going to find out that they've been cursing God's people for, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that they think they're blessing God's people, and they've actually been cursing God's people. So they're going to try to get rid. Like I said, they've been trying to get rid of the evidence, but they're going to be in full action trying to get rid of that evidence, which is you and me, sisters and brothers, to make sure that they are not convicted for this crime, but they won't be successful in that, sisters and brothers. But that is their plan, to attack all Blacks, sisters and brothers. That's why the scriptures give you highlights an event that will happen. It said this house, these devils are going to be so fierce. It said flee, sisters and brothers. It said flee because it's telling you how serious the times is about to be. So the brothers, it said don't turn back. Don't turn around. Don't go get your baby. Even if you left the babies at home, that is what it is. That's it. It's the scripture giving you an idea of how serious this time is going to be, or you will surely die, right? You will surely die if you turn around. Don't look back. Sisters and brothers, you flee, because that's how serious this time is. It's giving you ideas of what to expect, sisters and brothers, during this time of unprecedented trouble. On top of, sisters and brothers, they're going to be cannibalism here taking place, sisters and brothers, because they will not have any food to eat, sisters and brothers. Want anything to drink, sisters. None of these things that they will have, sisters and brothers, said no hope for these devils, sisters and brothers. So they're going to resort to cannibalism, sisters and brothers. And it tells you right here in the scripture that they will eat their own children. But before they do that, they plan on eating you, because they classify you in the Constitution as 3/5 of a human, right? Because they want to make sure that they had something to eat, sisters and brothers, and they made sure that you would be that first meal on that dinner table when this famine takes place. Sisters and brothers, before they eat their own children, they're going to be looking at us, right? So this is giving you an idea exactly of what they're going to be doing, eating one another, eating each other, cannibalism. But that's not something that we're going to be doing, sisters and brothers, because we're going to come together, right? Unite during this time, because that distraction, which was false Israel, they're no longer going to be, right? And we are going to no longer be distracted by all of the foolishness that they kept our minds distracted with for 400, well, not for 400, but their distractions will no longer be in place, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that that's going to give us time to rise, right? And it said that when we rise, we will rise as a mighty nation. It said we will come together, right? It said we will do exploits during this time. It said no weapon formed against us shall prosper, sisters and brothers. So it said all those weapons that they're going to be attempting to attack us with, they will not prosper. Sisters and brothers, we have to understand that, they're going to be attempting to use knives, guns, bomb, all these things, but we don't need that, right? Our unity is our power, right? Us come together as one body, understanding that we have to come together as that one body, because if we do not, we will in fact fail, because we have to understand that Hajj is the mission, sisters and brothers, through the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam. Us all coming together through our nature. Sisters and brothers, imagine how powerful that is going to be, because the scripture identifies that we will do exploits. Sisters and brothers, we will not a hair on our body. It says that sisters and brothers, no weapon formed against us will prosper, sisters and brothers, because our unity is our protection, sisters and brothers, on top of us getting our minds back during that time. However, we have to focus on our unity and understanding that we are one body, because this is something that they've also destroyed our minds with, which is keeping us apart from each other, making sure that we never, unite with one another, keeping us separate. Oh, I got this, I got this, I got this. But we all are one. When one fails, we all fail. So that's the mindset that we have to have, because that is what's going to take place, sisters and brothers. So we all have to work together and come as that one body, sisters and brothers. And that is, in fact, going to be our protection. And we will eat, sisters and brothers, not cannibalism. We won't be eating each other. We will eat, sisters and brothers, because the God will provide us with food, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that this is something that we need to see, though. Our nation has to see this event happen, because it said that experience is the best teacher, right? So we have to understand that our people, we can tell you all day about what happened to you and what they've done to you, and that you are your ancestors, they did these things to you, but that's not enough, right? Because we have to understand that was not during your time right now, right? So you have to experience that right now, right? You need to see that, right? Because that's what's going to shake you. It said it'll be a great shaking. That's what our people are going to need, a great shaking, right? Because you're going to see these devils in their true light. You ain't going to be standing next to them anymore. You ain't going to be trying to lay with them anymore. You ain't going to be standing with them anymore, because you're going to get a great shaking during the time. You're going to see these devils in their true light, sisters and brothers. And this is what it requires, sisters and brothers. This is what it requires experience. You have to experience this, because we have to understand the seriousness of what has happened to our nation, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand how serious this time is going to be, because a lot of our people are being deceived by these pastors and preachers, right? These demons that are robbing our nation, right? Robbing us. And they're supposed to be the people that's giving us the light, right? However, when this happens, we have to understand how serious the wrath of our people are going to be, because they're going to be so angry. You got to understand how angry our people are going to be, because they've been destroying their whole lives because of trying to get to a heaven that doesn't exist in the sky, right? They've done so many things. Their family members, all these things, a lot of their babies are going to be dying. All these things that they are going to experience because of the lack of knowledge that they have, right? And it's due to these pastors and preachers and people that claim that they have light that's robbing them, right? So imagine the wrath of the people, because now my baby just died because of you. My mother just died because of you. I am about to die because of you, right, sisters and brothers? So you have to understand the wrath of our people. Anger, sisters and brothers, anger. And they said, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes, right? If they were made from gold, sisters and brothers, because these people you don't understand extent of what's about to happen, which is why I said experience the best, because we're about to witness it. Because you're going to be here in the tribulation, sisters and brothers. But sisters and brothers, we have to understand that it said no weapon formed against us will prosper. But that's the importance of our unity. That's why we have to come together, because this is what's coming. This is what, and nothing can stop it from coming, sisters and brothers, because the winter is coming to an end, and it must end, sisters and brothers, because the spring is coming in, and no one can stop that, sisters and brothers. So it also identifies, it said that, and I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and everyone shall eat the flesh of his friend in the siege and in the desperation with which their enemies and those who seek their lives shall drive them to despair. No hope, sisters and brothers. It said that they will eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters. This is the scriptures. And this is what's about to happen during this time. It's like I said, it's highlighting certain events that you are going to witness happening, so you can have an idea and get an idea of what to expect during this time. Right, sisters and brothers? So it also, well, that was basically what we want to highlight today, sisters and brothers, for you all, because we want to make sure you all understand the seriousness of the time that's about to approach us, sisters and brothers. And you want to be on that right side during this time, because you're going to have demons uniting. The original nation going to be united, sisters and brothers. So you have to understand these demons are going to want to stay here, take over America. That is their vision, sisters and brothers, which is a dead-end vision, because it's going to destruction. Sisters and brothers, America's being destroyed. And our vision is getting out of here. Complete separation. That's how you will identify, sisters and brothers, what vision to follow, sisters and brothers, because yes, and the demons are going to stay here, want to stay here, doing things to fight against their devil fathers, sisters and brothers, stay here in America. But you got us. We're going to be getting out of here. It's complete separation. That is the identification, sisters and brothers, that you need to have in your mind. The Abrahamic covenant is what you need to focus on, sisters and brothers, because that is your vision, sisters and brothers. Because so when this time approaches, there's going to be two groups of blacks uniting. And sisters and brothers, this is the light that you need to follow. This is your body. The black man and woman of America is getting out of here. The Abrahamic covenant, your vision, sisters and brothers. This is what's going to protect you during this time of unprecedented trouble, sisters and brothers, and get you out of it as well. Because during this time, we will also have to get our minds back, right? And our minds is that Injil, right? Revelations, right? Those books, sisters and brothers. So we're going to have to, on top of us coming together and uniting through the 5 mathematical fields of Islam, once we get that, we're going to have to get our minds back in the midst of all of that happening to us, all this happening around us, sisters and brothers. So that was what we had for today. Unless Brother David had anything else to share.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we will be back with more, sisters and brothers. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.